Good morning. Welcome back. First order of business to approve minutes of September 20th. I believe all four of us were here. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, you were not here 20th
wasn't
or
here.
27th? Which date weren't you here? Krista, confirm?
Commissioner Burkett was not here for the 27th.
But you were here for the 20th?
Okay,
Yes.
which one are we approving?
The
20th.
I'll
I'll make a motion to approve the September 20th minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next would be for September 27th. Commissioner Burkett, I believe you were absent, so first and second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
3-0 on that one. Next, we'll begin with staff comments. Brian, please introduce yourself and,
Were we doing commissioner comments?
oh, I'm sorry, pardon me.
I thought they were before.
Stay seated there. I'll skip there. We can
Okay,
stay there.
yep.
Commissioner comments, Commissioner Burkett. You want to go first or Commissioner Kiefer?
He called your name.
Yeah, well, either way, I thought you wanted to go first, so I just,
Yeah, no, anyway. Okay, good morning, Washington County.
good morning.
We're getting there. That's what happens when you take a few weeks off. I just have one item that I wanted to address after watching our last meeting. These funds that we set aside for nonprofits were important funds that we set aside, and I thought to be used as a one-time request that could be made to the commissioners to meet some immediate needs within their agency. I also thought that the last agenda item for discussion, as I recall from our previous meeting, was to be about setting some perimeters that we would use for distributing these funds. Instead, I heard all kinds of ideas about passing the responsibility on to county staff. I believe passing the responsibility on to county staff after we've already distributed over $1 million of those funds is an injustice to those agencies who also reached out, including one that presented a proposal for one-time work to make some needed changes to a building or property. And so with that said, I requested several weeks ago that we compile a list of all agencies who made a request, and Krista promptly got this list together and out to all of us. And then a week or so ago, that list was updated. That list included 22 agencies, and we just received another one today from Hancock Fire Company that were asking for help. To date, including the $1 million that we've already dispersed, and that's an important number to keep in mind, we have had a request for only $2.1 million of those $3 million in funds that we set aside. I personally feel we're shirking our responsibility to distribute these funds to 19 other agencies as quickly as we did to 3 agencies, and feel this is something we can and should act on immediately. And so I don't know if there would be 2 other commissioners willing to do that, but I would ask why we are not acting as promptly on these other 19 requests as we did on those first 3 requests.
Does that conclude your report?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Kiefer?
Yes, I have a couple items. I had an opportunity to attend a couple events in the last week. Unfortunately, the only 2 that come to mind at the moment. One was I believe the 29th anniversary for Habitat for Humanity of Washington County. Several speakers spoke about their experience going through that process in home ownership. And, we know a stable home environment is important for families and children to grow and succeed, and that Habitat for Humanity helps to provide stable home environments. So thank you for what they do in our community. Also, I believe Commissioner Wagner, myself, County Administrator John Martirano, and Jamie Dick, and Rob Holsinger joined us at Meritus last week as well, as they had their another kickoff to talk about Go Bold and the plan to lose 1 million pounds in Washington County, the community, and a great inspirational message from the former mayor of Oklahoma City was enjoyed. And my wheels were turning as he was speaking about ideas we can implement here in Washington County, so that was a great event. A couple weeks ago, I had mentioned the possibility of having a discussion about tax refunds. I see it's not on our agenda again for 2 weeks after that. From my standpoint, that wasn't rhetoric. We've given a refund when our surplus is far less than what it is this particular budget cycle. And again, I think that shows good faith to our citizens that we recognize who funds our tax revenue for county operations. So I would like to have that discussion. I've received a couple complaints. I think some emails have come into all commissioners. I received a phone call about this as well, but some major construction projects that we have going on throughout the county, Oak Ridge Drive, National Pike in particular, the roads in that area, I know at least one road, National Pike is a state road, but Oak Ridge Drive, the dirt that gets on the roads, it's uncleanly, and it looks bad, for lack of a better word. You know, we try to present a good image for Washington County. I know at our landfill, we have a procedure where trucks that are coming off of the landfill drive through a tire wash. I don't know if that's something that maybe we could ask those builders to do, or if we could just, if we have a piece of equipment that could help clean that section of the road, but it is a little unsightly. It would be nice to have that addressed, and I'm not sure who the appropriate entity would be to do that, but.
Yeah, I'll just say that, you know, when we receive those complaints, our staff, or if it's the state, we contact the state. We do contact the contractor or whoever the developer is and ask for their assistance in that. So we do try to follow up on those, because some that, you know, we get complaints or we just notice them ourselves.
Yeah.
So we do follow up. We do follow up with whoever the developer is when those kind of things come forward. So if anybody sees those, obviously let us know.
I know the dirt's unsightly, rocks can bust a tire.
Yeah, that's a bigger problem, right?
I did watch the Oak Ridge people could have a water truck out there, but maybe they need to do it more often.
Do it more often.
But I did witness them doing that in Sterling Road, Bauer Avenue, Downsville Pike. They're doing it on a regular basis.
Yeah, because we've had, I know our county staff has had discussions with them about that.
Reminded to do it more often.
We can remind them again to
Thank you, Commissioner.
more often.
And one more item, so I'm asking that we bring back the tax refund conversation as an agenda item topic. And I would like to bring back, or maybe revisit, a recent topic with, in terms of zoning discussions. I think we all get comments from time to time about projects going on in the county, in particular warehouses, also truck stops. If we could have a more meaningful conversation about that. Many times I hear that the commissioners approved another warehouse, and I don't recall, at least recently, us having to make an approval for a warehouse. So if we could talk about how that process works for the citizens.
Right.
Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think that's part of our discussion coming
Yeah,
up later.
there's something on the agenda today that's going to maybe address that a little bit, so.
Lengthy, but it might address a lot of that.
Right, it may address that. If not, we can follow up
Okay.
and try to
And
address it.
hopefully next time we meet, if not, but, you know, citizens.
The noon item, Development Mitigation, Washington County, we have Jill and Travis and Chris. There's going to be discussions about a lot of those different things, so hopefully that'll answer your questions. If not, we can.
For the next
follow
time
up
we
with
meet.
that.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner?
Yeah, I think, Wayne, any warehouse we ever addressed that we had a vote on wasn't actually a warehouse, but it was a zoning upgrade that we didn't approve for Beaver Creek.
So maybe, you know, we need to look at more control that this board might have.
Yeah, well, some of it's water distribution is decided by the city, correct? Unless we have it there, so.
Yep.
Some of it needs to be defined.
Yeah, but I guess my main concern, and you guys are going to get tired of listening to me about this one, but for surplus money is I really don't want to commit a whole lot of money until I see the plan for our first responders EMS. I think David's going to be bringing in that plan before long. At least I just want to make sure that you know, with the outcry of what we keep hearing about first responders and defunding police and all that, I want to make sure we're covered there. And then, you know, I'm open-minded to anything else after that. Ways at a grand opening at, I think that was right at home. It was It's a home care service center out at Oak Ridge Drive, in-home care. Also was with Wayne, as he said, with Go for the Bold, Healthy Washington County. That's a scary one to be at because it's all about weight loss. I didn't like it because, no, I loved it actually, but, you know, then they put cookies out. What do you think of that? But, so anyway, you can go online and take the pledge. It's pretty cool. Emeritus at Go for Bold, Healthy Washington County. And they give you 10 years to lose some weight, so that's not bad. So, you got, like I pledged, like, I don't know, 20 pounds in 10 years. I might even be able to do that. But, one of the better events was a double Eagle Scout ceremony on Saturday that Commissioner Klein and I attended. It was James and Wyatt Clobber. They both are the sons of Teresa and Jim Clobber. They both attained Eagle Scout. That was a nice ceremony, and I think that's it. Boys and Girls Club Saturday night had a Jingle Mingle. I think it was just a social event. I attended. They talked for 15, 20 minutes, and it's just a good organization. You know, I'd encourage anybody to support it if they could. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Boys and Girls Club I attended to, starting today or tomorrow, they'll begin their public campaign for their new facility that they're raising funds for a capital project. Our last meeting, Commissioner Baker and I attended the Go Purple Luncheon that was held at the Maryland Theater with a guest speaker for awareness for drug addiction and treatment. On a sad note, tomorrow will be the 22nd anniversary of the terrorist attack on USS Cole, and two Washington County residents, Patrick Roy and Craig Weberly, were victims of that attack. So today, tomorrow, as you go about your daily routine, remember the two Washington County men were killed in a terrorist attack on the USS Cole, lest we forget. That concludes my report. We now will go to staff comments. I guess we'll start with Brian, since I brought you up early. Introduce yourselves in the matter.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Brian Overcast, Safety Compliance and Training Coordinator.
Good morning, Tracy McCammon, Risk Management Coordinator.
We simply wanted to come here and provide you an update on claims and just a safety and risk management update. I'm going to cover the workers' comp numbers, and Tracy's going to cover some of her claims numbers. So year to date, the county has 56 reported workers' comp claims. That's from all throughout the county system, Sheriff's Department, all the other departments. We have 12 lost time claims, which are claims that the employee actually lost time from work due to the injury or illness. We had 32 medical-only claims, which was simply just medical treatment. We get the person better, and 12 report-only claims where we just make a report and the employee, nothing more comes of it after the report is made, but we do it for safety reasons. The goal in all these claims is to have contact with the adjuster and the employee within 24 hours, and we work closely with that employee to make sure they're taken care of immediately.
So to give you an overview of the casualty and property claims, for the second quarter of the calendar year, we had 6 auto claims. 1 claim remains open. Out of the 6 claims, 4 were at fault. 1 was a total loss. The total loss claim was discussed at our safety committee meeting on how to avoid this type of accident in the future. And then we had 1 general liability claim, which is also still open. Claims for the third quarter, we had 14 auto claims, 2 that still remain open. Out of the 14, 8 were at fault and 2 were a total loss. We have 5 general liability claims, 1 remains open, and we have 1 property claim that is also open at this time.
Tracy and I are diligent about following up and making sure we're looking at the accidents that we have, the injuries and illnesses, to see if we can find a pattern and remedy that before it happens again. We continue doing inspections throughout the county, working with the departments, making sure that we're following through with the risk and safety side of things. We also co-chair the safety committee, and we meet quarterly. The next meeting is October 20th, which is just next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll see you shortly. Continuing with staff comments, Krista?
I have a few boards and commissions. The Disability Advisory Committee requesting that you accept the recommendation to appoint Lauren Feingold and April Crowhair, each to serve a first full 3-year term from November 1st, 2022 through October 31st, 2025. This is not a paid board.
Motion to approve.
I have a first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 4-0.
Washington County Gaming Commission requesting you accept the recommendation to appoint Leba Cohen to serve a partial term. This would be October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2024, with the eligibility for an additional 2-year term.
Commissioners?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And last, Washington County Community Organization Funding Committee requesting to accept the recommendation to appoint Dawn Wintermoyer to serve a first partial term, October 1, 2022 through March 31st, 2023, as Commissioner Charles Burkett's representative.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 That's all.
Krista, Mr. Downey?
Nothing this morning.
Nothing?
Thank you.
County Administrator?
Thank you, President Klein. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone. Just have a few things. First thing I want to talk to Commissioners about, we do have a scheduled meeting for next Tuesday, October 18th. However, we only have just a few agenda items, and there's some other groundbreaking and other events next Tuesday, so we can easily move those agenda items to the 25th. So if the Commissioners are okay with it, I would like to go ahead. Not intention of qualified election judges.
And there's no meeting next week.
Right, so now we just
Now
said
we
there's
got
not
the
a meeting.
25th, and then early voting starts the 27th.
Right,
So how would they have time if?
so, right, so, and again, I haven't talked to Kay about this. She sent this in, requested time on the agenda, but I want to bring it to the Commissioners' attention.
I'll make a motion to approve election board pay an additional $50. That's what's being requested, $50.
Right,
Based on their recommendation.
based on their recommendation, $50.
Second.
There's first and second. Any further discussion?
Hopefully, maybe if they need help advertising, if it's appropriate for our marketing team through our social media page to,
Sure.
push the need for election judges.
We'll follow up. I don't know if Kay's listening this morning, but she'll
This will aid in
probably
their
be surprised that I
recruitment.
brought it up, but I.
This will aid in their
I didn't wanna
recruitment and retention.
Yeah, they ran out of time. We got, yeah.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you to Kay and them
great.
for bringing that to our attention.
And the only last thing I wanted to say is I will be, this Thursday and Friday, I will be attending the Makos County Administrator Conference in Frederick. So I'll be there Thursday and Friday.
Right. John, John,
That-
would you like Kay and them know what we did today too? Kay at the election board?
Absolutely.
Inform them. Okay, thank you very much. Anybody out there for staff comments? I forgot. Next up on the agenda is citizens' participation. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment about an issue or issues of county practices and interests. This is not an interactive dialogue or a question and answer session. It is solely time to hear citizens comment. Please limit your remarks to about 3 minutes or under, as close as possible. Beginning with the front row, Mr. Woods, would you introduce yourself and the subject, please?
Good morning, Commissioners and county staff and county citizens. I know the Commissioners know me. I'm a retired engineer, and I work as an advocate for a project known as the Civil War Rail Trail, and I gave each one of you a handout that explains in more detail what I'm here today about. And there's been an important development I learned about just in the last couple months that you, the Commissioners, should know about, as well as the county citizens. And that development is that there is reports that the health in the county is deteriorating. Now, there's an organization called Healthy Washington County Coalition, and this is headed by Emeritus Medical Center and Brook Lane Mental Health, the county health officer, whatever. And every 3 years, they publish a report, and a report for the spring of 2002, and also I looked at the one from 2019, and it shows that the public health, which means the individual health for each person, but they call it public health collectively, in 10 years has deteriorated. Now, 10 years ago in 2012, the county commissioners had a study going for the Civil War Rail Trail, and that study, in a quick vote, was quashed, killing the trail project. And in that year, 2012, if you take the 24 counties in Maryland, Washington County was rated 12th out of 24, so the Washington County was right in the middle, not too good, not too bad. But now in the 10 years to this year, Washington County has slipped by 8 places. They're now 20th, so now they're down now near the bottom of the 24 counties. And the Healthy Washington County attributes this to lack of physical exercise, and I attribute it to lack of facilities close by to exercise. So when you take the Civil War Rail Trail, it provides exercise and recreation for every citizen in the county. And if you look at the Washington County website, there's a vision statement and a mission statement, and just summarize it in one sentence, taking an excerpt, it says that the county aspires to be a regional leader, and among other things, but one of them is public health. Now here they're saying you want to be a regional leader in public health, yes, in the last 10 years, the health is declining. We're down near the bottom of all the counties, and I'm saying that you could vote to redo the study for the Civil War Rail Trail. Now, another thing that's come up, in talking to the commissioners in the last few years, their main objection has been who owns the property on which the trail is to be situated, and that's a good question. I agree to that, and I checked with a local civil engineering survey firm, and they said it would be $8,500 for them to do a deed and a title research for the 15 miles of trail that the state owns. And I've taken it to the commissioners and asked them for this $8,500. It'll probably be $9,000 today, and my requests have been denied. Now, just recently, in the Herald Mail a few months ago, I saw where for Marty Snook County Park, the county and the state came up with $50,000 to construct a dog walking area. So when you look at the county commissioners were saying they want to be first in public health, and the public health is declining, and they won't spend $10,000 I asked them to research the property, yet they'll spend $50,000 to make an exercise place for dogs, but they won't spend the $10,000 to investigate the property ownership of the Civil War Rail Trail.
Would you,
So that's all I got.
would you summarize? No, you can summarize. I'm going to cut you off, but would you take a few seconds and summarize, because you kind of gone past the 3 minutes, and I don't want to cut your thought off, though.
What I'm saying is that 10 years ago was a very quick vote. The commissioners very quickly decided to kill the study, and all it takes is 3 commissioners to do another vote. And one time, Kiefer told me he liked the trail, and Burkett did. It would take one more commissioner to vote to restart. I'm just asking for a study, not build a trail, just get a professional engineering and lawyer study to give the best advice on what's best for the county and the citizens as a whole. Because right now you have a few citizens that are holding, that live along the trail that object and are holding everything up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, continuing with citizens' participation, and person in the next row, sir, come forward. Please, your name and address for the record, sir.
Michael Stopp, and I live at 18 South Mulberry. This is my first meeting with you all. Before you put me on the time clock, I will admit I
Well,
was coming to chew your
Well,
butts out.
you can do 3 or 4 minutes. I'm not going to cut you off.
I was coming to chew your butts out, but you all shocked me with the election worker vote.
Oh, okay.
I'm a election worker. And remember, we don't get hourly rates. And without those election workers, no politician would be sitting in those seats. And Mr. Burkett, I've had the conversation with him. He called me on a Sunday. I give him credit for that. So thank you for that. The election workers do need your help, and they are short of workers.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Right. Now, I'm going to go to the next point. I've been a thorn in Mayor Keller, Bob Brucci, all those city council members. I'm the guy that's out there picking up the needles in this city. I've worked with the health department. You have a silent problem coming up on you. And you're right here in downtown Hagerstown. You're part of downtown Hagerstown. This is a county problem. For 2 years, I did a little thing on my phone, a walking tour. I've taken a lot of pictures of what I saw. I picked up averaging 16 needles a day over by Meredith Hospital and Sheets's. You all are aware of Meredith Hospital's parking garage and Sheets's. They are #1 shooting galleries for this area. I've been on Sheets's headquarters butts. I've been on that hospital's butts. They've cut the protection around the hospital. They've cut that open now. That's hotel motel over there right now. The neighbors over there are suffering. The city council is trying to help. I see the gentleman from the first responders. I'm going to tell you what, the police, the sheriff's department, the state police, the first responders all need to be given the medal for what I see them doing. They're in my neighborhood more than they're probably anywhere in the county. I'd like to bring it to your attention about what's going on. There are some people on the streets that you're aware there's new laws trying to be passed about the homeless. You're going to have that issue to deal with coming up because they have rights to be on that street, whether they're on drugs or not. And I'm going to tell you firsthand that I was a drug user. I'm 41 years, HIV. I know all about it. I walk amongst them while they're shooting up. Right in front of me, yesterday, 3 of them. Right in front of me. I picked the needles up. David Washington at the health department has been very kind, taking them from me. I wear gloves. I'm seeing it firsthand, but I'm here to warn you that it's moving your way to the county. And you're going to be, every day I see more and more new people. I don't know where they're coming from. I see young guys, 16 and 17, a 13-year-old shooting up in the old parking lot that's for sale by Mulberry Law. That's pretty sad. So I'd just like to bring it to your attention that anything you can do to help that problem, and I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't go to a drug program to clean up. And some of the drug programs are fine, but some of them aren't working. So please, please watch what's happening. And I've watched on my street so many ODs and a death last Thanksgiving. I've watched people OD right in front of me with the spray. The people now are actually getting the spray and carrying it with them. They know they're going to OD, so their friend sprays it up their nose. So you're going to have a problem coming. And this is my first meeting. I promise I won't bug you. But please remember, those people that are asking that money, make sure that money's going to the right way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Continuing with citizens' participation, anybody in any other rows? Third row, ma'am, please come forward. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good morning. I'm reintroducing myself, 070419666 Mission Bay. You have my address on record. I'd like to thank you all for your service to the community. My mother-in-law taught me that the best way to make a friend is to ask someone for help. She also suggested this works in the business community. If my comments at the last time I was here made anyone uncomfortable asking for direct help from direct people. For International World Peace Day, if that made you uncomfortable, I apologize for that. You know, I travel amongst 3 geographies, and that's really all I've ever been to in my entire life. That's for security purposes. When I travel, I like to compliment about what I learn in one area and see if it could help another. Your area, I've told everywhere I go about your Citizens Emergency Preparedness Day, worth modeling. I was grateful that I happened to be there on the day they did that last weekend. There weren't as many vendors, but it's still a really important service. And hopefully other communities and other regions are modeling it. Same goes for the Berkeley County Scholarship Program, promotion of education. I tell people everywhere I go how important that is. And if anybody ever wants to offer suggestions for improvements, that is wonderful. Neighborhood Watch, security. I brag on the neighborhood I grew up in. We had a welcome wagon. We went and introduced ourselves to new neighbors. We had clever kids once a month, 2 names drawn out of a hat. We came up with an affordable activity we could participate with. Clever couples did the same thing. You know, world security, national security, all begins in your community. On the Citizens Emergency Preparedness Day, I called ahead of time and I suggested if you have someone that helps from the law enforcement community and a coordinator from a community that already has a good neighborhood watch, if they needed any additional help, whatever it is, that I would help them with that. I come in peace, I activate for peace, I advocate for peace, and I've moved International World Peace Day to October 26th, my father's birthday this year. He would be 100 years old. You can still get that on the calendar, great. If not, other areas will be celebrating, and hopefully maybe next year you could give it reconsideration. And I do want to compliment your Humane Society. I did visit there recently. They do an excellent job. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Continuing with citizens' participation, is there anyone else in the gallery? Seeing no one come forward, next on the agenda is the collective bargaining agreement. Gentlemen, please come forward, introduce yourselves for the record.
Good morning, I'm Eric Paultel, Outside Labor Counsel to Washington County.
David Hayes, Director of Emergency Services.
So we have the pleasure of making you aware of a collective bargaining agreement which has been reached after a number of months of negotiation between the county team and representatives of International Association of Firefighters Local 1605. This labor union represents employees who are full-time personnel at the rank of captain and below who work in the Washington County Department of Emergency Services. And this is the first ever collective bargaining agreement that we have negotiated. This union was just certified a couple of years ago, and we got to the bargaining table last fall, and we've shown a lot of compromise, a lot of back and forth from both sides, but we're fortunate to get to a tentative agreement subject to the approval of the Board of County Commissioners. So I wanted to outline for the commissioners the key terms that have been tentatively agreed to. Economically, we have agreed to a 3-year agreement with wage increases in the first year that were 1% for cost of living and a 2.5% step increase, meaning a total increase of 3.5% in the first year that took effect on July 1st of 2022. In the out years, which would be fiscal years 2024 and 2025, any COLA increases or step increases will be the same for these employees as for other Washington County employees. Additionally, the county and the union have agreed to reopen negotiations in January of 2023 and January of 2024 for a very limited purpose, and that would be to discuss the wage scale, which applies to employees covered by this agreement, and to see whether or not there's a need to make any adjustments to that wage scale due to either operational changes in the department or market conditions. Beyond the wage increase, we've also agreed to a modification of the retirement program so that employees covered by the agreement no longer need to wait 30 years to draw their pension, but instead they can draw their pension at 25 years. And that's the case with deputies, sheriff's deputies in the county and other county employees. So it brings them in line with the other public safety employees. We made some enhancements to vacation leave for employees covered by this agreement to give them slightly more vacation than they presently were receiving. It brings their vacation schedules in compliance with the unusual work schedules they work. These individuals work a 48-hour work week as opposed to a 40-hour work week, so we made their vacation schedule comport with that 48-hour work week. We've also tentatively agreed to some changes in the uniforms. The individuals would receive new allotments for both regular day-to-day uniforms and what are called Class A or dress uniforms. And that is the key economic terms of the agreement. Non-economically, just a couple of provisions worth mentioning. We modified the manner in which we calculate overtime under the Fair Labor Standards Act, taking advantage of certain exemptions available under federal law. This is a cost-neutral change to the county, but it works to the advantage of the employees and to the payroll department. We've agreed to a broad management rights clause that gives the county the right to maintain operational flexibility under the terms of the agreement, including the right to temporarily suspend a provision of this agreement if an operational emergency were to arise. We've agreed to certain leave provisions such as union leave, military leave, the vacation leave we spoke about. There is a grievance process in place for employees to pursue grievances under the contract and eventually take those to arbitration if necessary, but they do not have the right to grieve disciplinary decisions. And there is a prohibition on employees striking or the county locking out employees. So those are the key provisions that have been negotiated. As I said, this would take effect upon approval by the board and remain in effect until June 30th, 2025.
Commissioners, comments?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
First and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. 4-0. Gentlemen, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda would be the Black Empowerment Summit 2023. Those folks here? Hey, there you are, sir. Good morning. Please introduce yourself and the matter.
Good morning, Kaleem Johnson. I represent a couple of different organizations, one being EARN and the other being the African American Aggregate Association. And today I'm here to ask for more resources for the upcoming summit in March 2023. This year, we had a pretty successful outcome, sold out. We had about 20 businesses in the building that were economically impacted, and then they also were able to patronize the businesses downtown. On July 15th, I brought a national artist to town by the name of Life Jennings. We had 743 people in the Maryland Theater as well. Once again, that was a driver in the downtown area. For the upcoming summit, it will be at the Kepler Center, however, because the theater doesn't have a Saturday available for us. They had a Sunday, and so I wanted to make sure it was on a Saturday, and the numbers we're projecting is between 500 to 600. The resources that I'm asking for, once again, you guys did provide $3,000 this year, and that took care of scholarship funding for Taylor Giles, Brian Brown, and Aisha Saunders. So that was cool, and I appreciate that. But this year, we were looking for the same amount plus a couple thousand more to help with the marketing cost. So when I do marketing, which is via social media for the most part, you realize there's a cap or a ceiling within the Hagerstown market. And so a lot of times I have to extend that marketing to the Baltimore area, the DC area, the Harrisburg area, and that can run, it costs. And so there's a creative side, but there's also a budgetary side to get that messaging out there. So what I'm seeking from the county is $5,000 this year. The city has already done $4,900, and that's covering the cost of the building, tables and chairs, linens, everything from a infrastructure standpoint. And the help that we're looking for is, once again, for the scholarship program as well as for a marketing cost.
So the majority will be used, other than your marketing, will be used for scholarships?
Yes, sir.
And the source of, if we would approve, the source of the funding?
I think out of the commissioner's contingency, I think that's where we took it last year.
Commissioners, would there be a agreement, a motion
Can
to
you,
approve this?
Can you guarantee us that 3,000 again is going to be set aside for scholarships?
Absolutely, sir. I never ask for more than what I need.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Hey, is there any further discussion? Commissioners contingency fund, $5,000. Okay, any other questions?
All good?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Now, how do I take that up? Or
We'll handle that, contact you for that.
Can you give me, I'll meet you around, give me your contact.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Next on our agenda, Management Boot Camp Certificate Presentation.
Hi, Brian Evercash, Safety, Compliance, and Training Coordinator, HR. Commissioners, I just want to personally thank you for taking the time to do the certificates with this group. Very proud of this group. There was 23 people picked throughout the county to do the training. And just to give you a little background on the training, this was a management boot camp. The department heads and division directors picked staff that they felt like could represent the county as managers, supervisors, and leaders in the county workforce. The series of training was completed in partnership with HCC. It was a 7-week course and covered 7 topics of training. Communication skills for managers, the significance of supervision, customer service and care, project management, human resource management, leadership skills, coaching for improved performance. So I would just like to congratulate all the folks that completed that training, these individuals and their willingness to be the best possible leaders in Washington County. I personally got to sit in on several of the sessions, and it opened my eyes just what really good employees that we have, the way they work together in groups, the networking that was involved within our workforce. Many times they don't get to meet outside of an opportunity like this, so and I thank John and staff and connect with each other in a training basis. So it was successful in that regard for sure. So we're going to do the presentation.
Was there a class valedictorian?
All of them.
Oh, good answer. Very good.
all.
Yeah, we can do a presentation. Going to ask the commissioners to come up and join, and Brian, you'll.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read the names, and Krista's going to give out the certificate.
And while they're coming up, I'll just say, I do want to thank Brian and all the HR team for doing this. We had a discussion about, we needed to start this type of training, and Brian and them went out and got this all started. And Brian, I don't know if you mentioned what the commitment was. It was a huge commitment for all of these employees. So.
It's a major commitment. Every single one of them.
They're going to run the gauntlet. Brian, where you go? Right here, and let them go down the line.
So just after you go through and get your certificate, or you're going to the commissioners, just hang out here and we're going to get a photo before you leave. So the first one is Miranda Crabtree. She's a Recreation Program Coordinator with Department of Recreation.
Thank you.
Next is Anthony Drury. He's a Recycling Operations Coordinator, Division of Solid Waste. Next is Melvin Fraley, Traffic Control and Safety Supervisor Highway.
There you go, buddy.
Next is Sean Harbaugh, he's Transit Fleet and Facilities Manager at Transit.
Hey, thank you.
Next is Eric Jacobs, Operations Manager, Fire Operations.
You are a big shot.
Next is Jordan Leach, Facilities Manager, Regional Airport. Next is Cal Luther, Maintenance Lead Worker, Parks.
That's a job I want for. Thank God.
Next is Donald Morgan, Superintendent of Landfill Operations, Solid Waste.
Thanks, buddy. Good job.
Next is Rebecca Orndorff, Chief of Laboratory Testing, Water Quality.
Thank you. Good job.
Next is Danny Shirley, Airport Equipment Operator, Firefighter of the Airport.
Hey, thanks, Dan.
Next is Patricia Schultz, Diversion Alternative Director, State's Attorney's Office. Next, Mr. Jerry Ward, he's a chemist, water quality.
I should get down on one knee, maybe. Thank you, buddy.
I think we all know the next one, Gene Wolf, Building Maintenance Supervisor, Building Grounds and Facilities.
This guy looks familiar.
Thank you. I need to shed Bill.
Next is Mr. Aaron Martin, Treatment Plant Superintendent, Water Quality.
Hey, thank you, now. Good job.
And lastly, Michael Nelson, Maintenance Lead Worker, Parks. So I'd just like to announce to folks that we're in the class that weren't able to be here today. John Posey, Fleet Services Coordinator, Highways. Gary Nail, Assistant Section Supervisor, Highway West. John Phillips, Section Supervisor, Highway Central. Colin Price, Assistant Section Supervisor, Highway East. James Beaver, Assistant Section Supervisor, Highway South. Jeff Weller, Assistant Field Operations Supervisor, Parks. James Hastings, Assistant Collection Superintendent, Water Quality. That's all 23.
Hurrah, hurrah.
Yeah!
Everyone out here with the commissioners.
Class picture.
Biggest picture I think we've done, right, Andrew?
Yeah, we'll stay behind.
You guys just come across the trucks on that. We'll get you in here.
Danielle's in charge of,
Okay.
it's gonna be 3 rows.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be a couple, because we can't go too far out, so.
So you're gonna be stuck in the middle anyway.
In here. Go in. We might want to cover you guys up though, so can you guys switch?
You're making your way to the middle, aren't you? That'll get
Come
you.
into the middle, can you guys switch? Here. Yeah, I just don't want to be included. Switch.
Like Marley in love.
Can you guys flip flop? And then we'll bring you guys into the.
Nelson threw me off, but I was consoling.
Can you get everyone in?
We've already found an opening,
Can we
right?
squeeze like, you guys want this long? Sorry, it's a little squishy. And then just come in a little bit. Can you get everyone? There you go. Smile.
Jordan, smile.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hurrah.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, what?
Since you attended, usually I get Wayne signs, but he didn't attend.
What is it?
For my credit card. This is where you
done in the neighborhood? Okay. Moving on with our agenda, if everybody's here, the next item is development mitigation. Looking for Jill, I believe.
More flipping invitations.
The next agenda item is Jill Baker.
Oh, she's not here.
He is now. Okay, continuing with our meeting, our next agenda item, development mitigation in Washington County. Folks, please introduce yourselves in the matter.
Chris Fogg, Rural Preservation Administrator. Travis Allen, Comprehensive Planner.
I am Jill Baker. I'm the Director of the Department of Planning and Zoning. So today we're here before you because there's been a lot of discussion and obviously for good reason. There's been a lot of discussion about non-residential activity that's been occurring in the county here recently. And I think there seems to be a growing concern about the amount of change that is happening and what we're doing to mitigate for that. So we've been asked to create a presentation to show sort of all right, Danielle. Slide.